everyone. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're watching Guys, Sex, and Love. Tonight, I'm chatting with Miss Bronte Hemingway. She is an entrepreneur and producer and so much more. So, friends, if you're ready to learn more about her, then stay tuned.
That I'm not the type of girl that goes around and fools around. Think I'm so done with that crazy part of my past. So don't get so bold to ask, 'cause I won't go there. So be aware, yeah. I'm good, but I bet you wish.
Welcome back to Guys, Sex, and Love. I am here with the lovely Miss Bronte Hemingway. Hello, how are you?
Hey everyone, thank you so much, Miracle, for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes, welcome. Welcome to Guys, Sex, and Love.
Yes.
I appreciate you reaching out, and I'm excited to hear what you have to share with us. So tell us where you are and what you have going on.
Yes, so hey everyone out there, my name is Bronte Hemingway. I'm just a regular girl. Let's start there. I'm just a regular girl with a big dream, and I consider myself as, dreaming out loud. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I am the founder and owner of a production company called Raw Black Films. And I'm just excited to talk about my journey on how I actually became a business owner, because without God, without love, I would not be here. So it's very important.
That's amazing. I'm excited. I'm excited here because I feel like we have a lot in common. You said like one of the things that I always say when I go on people's shows. I'm like, I'm a small town girl with big dreams. Now you might not be the small town girl because you big city girl. but yeah, okay. I'm excited. So I definitely want to hear more about everything because again, we have a lot in common in regards to productions and all that. So yeah, tell me about like how did you get into the production side of entertainment?
Yeah, so this actually it was an opportunity that was presented to me. It wasn't something that I sought after. Basically, I was just a regular girl. I like to classify myself as a regular person because I'm not special. I'm no different than the average person. And I just had at that time, I had an interest of just working in the office. And I just was applying to a bunch of jobs on Craigslist. Craigslist, you wouldn't necessarily classify that as a guaranteed job, or a job a place you should look for jobs, I should say. So I was just looking for internships. I was in college at the time. One internship hit me back. It was actually a company who worked with a lot of major brands like Victoria's Secrets, MAC, a lot of news channels. And I was like, okay, they want to talk to me. All right. So I, put my big girl panties on because at that time I was still in college. I just came back from Florida. And after being my life is a story in itself. I was actually sent out to Florida because I wasn't the best daughter, as you may. Yeah. After learning my lesson in Florida, I came back with a new head on my shoulders. I went to the interview. I got the job. It was an internship. I was later then promoted as the CEO assistant. And then once that job ended, I just wanted to know more about production. And from there, the rest is history. Now, I have tons of experience on set, behind the scenes. Yeah, you name it.
Cool. Good. Hey, there's a lot to kind of touch on there. So I don't know, but it's up to you. Obviously you can share whatever you like to share. But I think the reason I kind of did a little look when you said Florida, because I went there. I lived there for about 5 years. And so that's what I'm saying. Like we got so much in common right now. I'm
like a full circle moment almost. Yeah.
I was gonna be like, and I worked at Disney. Because if you said that, I'm like, girl, I was there too.
No, I was in Fort Lauderdale. I was about to ask, what part of Florida were you in?
We got family down there though.
Mm-hmm.
Is my cousin on the line?
Right.
Right. We do have family. Yeah, they're more so in like Pompano Beach, but still, it's like the same type of little circle. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. So you got into it. It just was this thing that kind of was presented, and then I guess you kind of fell in love along the way, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Repeat that.
Like, did you fall in love along the way with productions and producing?
Yes, yes.
Cool, cool. So now you're tapping into it, and it's a business endeavor that you do for yourself.
Mhm.
So tell us about like some of the things that you produce. Like, is it film? Is it stage? Is it like what type of things do you produce?
So this is actually an interesting question because we actually launched a company this year. So March 2022, we launched a production company, and I believe this is God, and this is where God comes into play because so far we had an overwhelming response of 260 members who are currently signed up today. So we're basically looking to build a community for creatives and entrepreneurs to dream out loud. So yes, we are a production company first, but we also have our very own writers room where we, provide public resources. We have our own writers room where we create the stories. And right now, our current focus is to produce and develop short films. So
That is
we're doing
amazing.
something. We're breaking, we're trying to set a new curve where like the next generation production company, because if you really think about it, a lot of the companies out there, they don't have resources. They have resources for the public, but they're hard to come by, or you need to know somebody, or it's like a waiting list or whatever. They have like a lot of acting resources. They have a lot of schools, but they don't have like the fundamentals to become a strong writer, the fundamentals to become a strong comedy writer, if that's your interest, or the interest, or the resources to take your idea out of your head and execute it, basically. So that's what we're looking to do. Yeah.
I love that. I think that's amazing because again, yeah, we definitely need more resources, like you just said, like more resources. And I think there's just so much power in coming together, a community of people coming together, even if it is to write. Because when you think about it, writing is a huge aspect of production. Like I mean, now you can wing stuff, there is something called improv. But for the most part, right, when you're gonna film something, you need the bones of it, right? You need the writing and whatnot. So that is I think that's amazing, man. I hope you keep on keeping on with that. And it sounds like it's something that's growing and people are gravitating to. And I know I'm sure there's a lot that you all are doing up there in NY and whatnot with that. So yeah, man, that sounds exciting. So cool. So there's some short films to be looking for from your production company and whatnot. So that's amazing. And so I know you mentioned that, God played a big part in this in regards to now I don't want to put words in your mouth. So why would you say that? Why did you say that? Like why did you feel like okay, God has orchestrated this?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because uh, I do consider this as a faith-based business because it was an idea that I was being presented from, like, I want to say God. I'm not gonna try to put it on anything or anyone else, but yeah, it was from God because it was like just random videos I was watching that had nothing to do with like maybe God or I want to say TV and film. And then there was a message that spoke to me that only like that only I was able to understand in a way. So for example, let's start here. So basically Tyler Perry and in January, he was in an interview. He was doing an interview, and I'm not sure what the interview was about, but there was one. I think he was introducing or promoting that movie that he dropped in January called Homecoming or something like that on Netflix. So he dropped a movie on Netflix and he was promoting it, and then basically he said something like audiences have become polarized. So that was one thing that I've been passionate about because for years and years and years, I haven't been watching TV because nothing of interest is on TV. And, if you really think about it, compared to the 90s and the early 2000s, we haven't been laughing out loud as a community, as a people, as the world hasn't really been laughing since then. And these streaming waves and Netflix, Amazon Prime and all these streaming services, they pretty much taking over the airwaves by producing all of these action-based or drama-based series. which
Mhm.
taken out of like a lot of the urban writers, the comedy writers, and things
Mhm.
like that. So it
Yeah.
was a couple signs like that, like Tyler Perry has mentioned. Another person was China McClain. It was just several people in the industry just giving these like little bursts of like messages from God, and that communicated directly to me. So I was like, all right, I see what you're doing, God. Let me leap out on faith. And I did the unconventional. I basically I put up a post on one of these like primarily like Black production groups on Facebook.
Mhm.
And maybe within 24 hours, that post had 250 likes. And that was the first thing I ever put out or promoted that received that type of response. So I was like, okay, God, is that you? So
Mhm.
I was like, all right. And then maybe a week later, I was like, let me just try it again just to see if I'm not bugging. Because I know God ain't bugging. So let me just see if I'm not bugging. And I did it again on a completely different group, but it was predominantly for Black screenwriters.
Mhm.
So that post received maybe 150 likes within 24 hours. I was like, okay, I gotcha. I'm definitely gonna, be obedient, and then I'm going to do something with these people who are, looking for the same thing that I'm looking for. So that's the
That, I
real.
mean, girl, listen, first of all, get out my head and out of my life. Okay, wait. I mean, because
Listen,
honestly, like, yes, man, I'm with you on all of that. There's so much, um, there's like this hunger and need for content, but at the same time, doors are opening as well. Like, if you really think about it, like, there's so many different doors, especially for like independent people that are open now, where it's like, not say we got to get in where we fit in, but if you can build something in the season, if you can try to get it going and whatnot, it seems like it's a good time to do so. Like, because there are different streaming services now. Like, it's not just Netflix and stuff. Yeah, the big ones is great, but you can also get on the small ones and stuff, and or you can make your independent films, and all these different things where, back in the day, again, like you said, there was, I say they aren't still gatekeepers, but there were like kind of gatekeepers where you had to know somebody to even get in, and how you even audition for this, and stuff like that. And so, as an actor, I kind of experienced multiple sides of the producing side as well as acting and whatnot. And so, what you're saying, I can totally agree with. And I love that you said that you well, first of all, stepping out on faith and doing the thing that you feel like God is leading you to do, that's huge as well, because like, because you can get distracted, or you can be like, was that you? I don't know. Maybe I won't do it, blah, 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 blah. And you're procrastinating. And for me, I'm in the place now, which I pray, thank and praise God for, but I'm in the place now where I'm just like, all right, Lord, well, whatever you want me to do then, what we doing? What we doing? Oh, okay, so do this, talk to this person, go, okay, But the thing is, it's like, now it's like I just see so much fruit from doing that and just stepping out on faith and being faithful in those small things and just keep going in the consistency where I'm cool now. You know what I mean? Like, and back in the day, I can remember struggling. I can remember being like, Lord, I trust you, but let me do this over here while you doing, and all of that. And so there is power in that as well, to go ahead and say, that was great for of you to be able to like hear from God and say, I'm going to do this thing that I feel led to do, versus allowing the doubt, fear, and all those different things that come in to stop you in the progress of that. So I commend you, man. I commend you, and I think there's definitely room for the content that you're talking about. Because I agree with what you said about the '90s. I mean, yeah, I remember all the sitcoms growing up and whatnot, and now it's like, where are they? You know,
Stuff word from word, had it, had things recorded on the the DVD, no, bootlegging. Like, we used to record things. We used to, memorize things. Now things are disposable. Like, I can't remember the last thing that I was like, hey, let me go rewatch that because I like that, scene, or I like that, like, the song that they made up or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a while, and we need to, and I think that's another thing about society, is that we're afraid to live out loud. We're afraid to and then especially because the way the world has been going in, we're afraid to live out loud, for one, and we don't know how to I'm not saying it's interact, but we don't know how to have that camaraderie anymore where we're letting everything go, phones, computer, technology go, and then just be in a moment. I think that plays a big moment, and afraid to embarrass ourselves. That's the biggest thing. We're afraid to look a fool and, mess up.
Yeah, some of us are, some of us are, or some of us don't even understand that we are looking like a fool. That's a whole nother conversation.
Listen, you looking like a fool trying to look perfect, like, like, that's not to like say anybody is wrong about being perfect, but perfect perfection doesn't get you any like far in life. It would keep you coasting for a long time.
You know what I feel like God gave me over the years. I was thinking about like my marriage and stuff like that, but what I received is that perfection is a fairy tale. At the end of the day, nobody's perfect, and so, and I think that kind of segues to me into what I was getting ready to tell you. That basically, like, I love that you said about what you said about your business, going in a faith-based route, or maybe some of the content might go in a faith-based route and whatnot. 'Cause I feel like there is room for that as well, because nothing against the Christian movies and the Christian shows and the things that are out, commend those people, great, do your thing. But I also feel like there's room where people need to get this type of content in a more real and relatable way as well. Because again, like you just said about perfection, like people are thinking that there's the narrative that Christians look at us, like, oh, you're perfect or X, Y, and Z. I know my life isn't perfect. And I've shared it in my book. I've shared all the time on the podcast and all these different things. I'm like, hey, it's God that brought me through. It's God that, with his grace and mercy to lead me and guide me in certain ways. Like, yeah, I might have made some choices along the way that helped me get here, and I guess I can take ownership of that, because we all have free will to make choices. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to be perfect, right? And I'm always going to need, am I being Christ to lead me and guide me and whatnot. And so yeah, I do feel like there's this gap when it comes to, and that's what inspired the talk show and everything, because it's just like there's this gap in communication when it comes to being real, open, transparent about like life and being a human, right? And understanding that, okay, and because I'm a human, I need God. Like, I feel like some of the things I've seen, it just makes it, either it's just overly dramatic, where it's like, not say you can't relate to the drama that's in the movies or you can't relate to the stuff, but it's like, does it have to be the same thing? Can it be, did the husband have to cheat, or can it be something else? Like, there's a lot of different things that can affect people in their relationships and stuff. Or I just feel like, I don't know. I don't, for me, I feel like that's my lane, and that's some things that I'm going to be working on, making more either movies or shows or whatever that kind of talks about this relationship lane and whatnot as a Christian and whatnot. But anyway, see here, I don't know. Am I pitching to you and your business today? I don't know.
No, you're fine. I enjoyed it.
Things that have been on my heart and mind to produce.
I was about to ask you a question next. Like, like, I'm so curious on like, what was the day? Do you remember the day and moment where you decided to bet on yourself and take a leap of faith?
When I would, which thing with this?
Yeah, that brought you to this moment. Yeah.
But I don't know what we're talking. Are you talking about like the talk show God, Sex, and Love, or are you talking just me in my life, or were you?
Yeah, the person who you are today. Because, well, yeah.
Yes. So that funny thing is, look, let me grab my book. No. But yeah, basically, I would say that time in my life was my Florida days. I called that the cultivation period. I did write a book about it. The cultivation period, a single Christian's journey. Because I was single, I was in my 20s, I was living on my own. My family was here in Georgia, and I was, down there by myself in Florida, figuring a lot of things out. And I feel like during that time, that's when I truly built my own relationship with Christ. Like, my mom's an evangelist. I always knew about the Bible and Jesus, and you know what I mean? But you gotta build that for yourself, right? And so there was a lot of things that kind of like led me in this direction, obviously, but I feel like during that time in my life is when I really was like, you know what, I'm going to make some choices. I'm going to do some things differently. And the thing was, long story short, it was these things, God, sex, and at that time I had said my career, because if you watch my old YouTube videos when I had a fro. Anyway, I said, God, sex in my career. I think about these things all the time. And then I came back and was like, look. Okay, so when I said sex, I meant the whole thing, like marriage and love and romance, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But my whole thing was like, I just want to rip this Band-Aid off of saying sex, because at the end of the day, again, as a Christian person, I know what the Bible says and I know what I wasn't supposed to do. But I know what I wanted, right? And I know that how horny I was at that time. And I'm like, Lord, what do you want me to do with this? Because these are natural feelings, which I had to learn as well, because I was asking God to take those feelings away. I'm like, take this away from me, you know? And so anyway, during that time of my life, yes, that's when I feel like God was drawing me nearer to him, using those things I like, right? Using those things I thought about all the time, drawing me nearer to him. And I started asking myself questions. I was like, you know what? Why am I so horny? You know, like, what do I really want? You know, because I was at the time I was fooling around a lot and stuff like that, being honest. You know, I share this all the time. So hey, y'all should already know this, guys. It's a little people. I was fooling around, you know, finding the loopholes. I'm like, well, it's not penetration. So you know, anyway. And so yeah, you know, and that's what I was doing. And my thing was like, when I really thought about it, well, one of the transitional moments for me was I was going to this church. It's God's House Orlando. And the pastor said, if you make God's wants your wants, you're going to get what you want. And I'm like, okay, let's try this thing and see, you know? So, and those were things that plus another friend of mine, we were supposed to collaborate on a book ideas, this whole thing. But it was just pushing me in this direction to think and to ask myself certain questions. And as I was asking myself the questions of like, okay, what is it that I really want? I want to be married. I want to be in a loving relationship and all these different things. Well, I had to ask myself then at that point, then, well, why are you fooling around? You know, why are you doing the things you're doing? It's not going to lead you in that direction. And so, you know, I had to make some changes. You know, I had to have some things. It was tough. I ain't gonna, you know, I've been open and honest about that and whatever. It was a tough decision at that time, but I feel like making those decisions at that time and again, being faithful in those small things at that time has led me to be where I am now. Because yeah, I'm, you know, we on year 6, right? Of marriage. I don't know. I can get my numbers wrong. But anyway, I am married. I do have a son now. And, you know, and my husband is very loving and supportive. Are we perfect? No, we're not perfect, you know, but I feel like he's perfect for me. And I guess he believes the same thing. But, you know, I'm one of those worst affirmation people. So I'm just waiting for him to say it again and again and again. But yeah, so that's me. That's like what happened with me. And so, and that's the crazy thing, because even when I finally did put out my book out, you know, in the book, I was just going on and on about being single and what I wanted and praying and all those different things. And then, and now by the time I published it, I was able to like kind of write an epilogue at the end. It was like, and all that stuff I was praying for, I got. And I'm just like, and it's crazy. It's crazy, you know, but that's what happened with me. That's my testimony. And I encourage everybody else to do it as well, where it's like, you know, if there's things that you want or things that you see for yourself, I feel like those are God-given gifts and ideas. Those are things that are they are available, and they are probably what you're supposed to have, you know, if you're desiring it, you know. And so I think we can kind of get like, again, we can get discouraged along the way when it comes to different things, you know.
We're human.
So
We're half human, half spirit. So that's the human side of the picture.
Yeah, you know, we can get kind of discouraged along the way, where it's like, or we'll let those things that are trying to distract us get us off track. But, you know, I think finally being in this place where I'm finally content, I'm finally in, like, I'm not, yeah, I still got goals, I still got dreams, I still got things I'm reaching towards, but I'm just like truly living by faith right now. Like, I'm not, I've been sharing this all the time too. I know y'all tired of hearing this, guys. Let's love people, but I mean, it's my testimony, and I got to keep sharing, because I think, again, we let a lot of things get in our way, right? And so, you know, I'm not necessarily working a 9 to 5 right now. I have my business endeavors and stuff, but you know, but what are you taught when you grow up, right? People are like, yo, you need to go to college, you need to get a job, blah blah blah, and then people put these things on you when maybe God wants me to, right, be at the place where I'm at now. I'm hustling from home. I'm writing books. I'm creating, got my movie ideas, and then maybe that's where the Lord wants me. You know what I mean? Like, it might not be, you know, my path to go to the, you know, college and do all this stuff. Now I did go to college, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like there's just a lot of things that people say, and I just feel like we just need to kind of more so listen to what God wants us to do versus what maybe even what we think we should do though. That's another thing too. But yeah, girl, look. We supposed to be talking about you and your endeavors now.
No, I can actually relate to that because it goes back to, you know, working in the workforce, like, you know, doing that that 9 to 5 and the systematic, you know, working to pay the bills. Like, I understand that because if it hadn't been for that, if I hadn't, there was a time between me being in production and then to right now. So basically during that time of my like confusion, if I should still work behind the scenes or if I should do my own thing, like as far as writing and things like that, I was very confused. So I was still you know, paying bills. I had rent to pay. At that time, my rent was like $1,600. So I had to listen, I had to pay the bill. I'm in New York City, so you know, rent is expensive. So I had to work. But the job that I was working at, honestly, that was a God-given job because I wear glasses. So oh wow. I'm so sorry because I just remember how I got to the glasses place. I was actually doing like taking a leap of faith. Like that. This is the year of the pandemic. I'm so sorry, but wow, this has been a long journey, and wow, I forgot. I'm so sorry, but yeah, this has been a long journey, and this journey began in 2018. If to be real transparent, 2018 was when I decided to go back to TV and film, and then began work my career working in the office because prior to 2018 I was only working on set, and I was like, this is too much. I'm getting older, and then I got injured on set. I now have arthritis because of that. I had to get on disability, and like, you know, God, and that was during the season where I was like moving, just money hungry. I was on like the excitement for like, you know, the entertainment, the lights, camera, action. I was like on a literal high. And basically I was just blinded by the you know, excitement. Yeah. So basically 6 months into my first year in production, this like metal object fell and crushed my foot. And then I understand at that moment, after it happened, that God was telling me to sit down and slow down. Like, you're gonna get the experience anyway. Just slow down and figure out who you are. Because during that moment, I was noticing that my career was coasting. And then it was coasting because I was trying to be perfect. Because I was in a new industry and I didn't know anything about it. I was just trying to be perfect, polished. I was talking proper. I was using big words that I didn't even know how to spell. Like, I was like, you know, faking it until I made it. And then that only set me back a couple of notches because it's so funny because I just had this conversation the other day. I hate to use colorism as a thing, but colorism is what woke me up. Me being a Black light-skinned woman, I noticed that the Black men and women who were darker skinned on set were getting different treatment compared to how I was being treated. So basically, with that being said, I realized that they were being unapologetically them, while I was being like this perfect, like yes woman. So I wasn't walking in my truth. I wasn't speaking in my truth. So God was making, like, you know, causing me to coast. So that caused me to leave TV and film for about a year and then go back to my first love, which is social media management. And I learned that first as my first job in the entertainment industry at the casting agency. And I took that as like and turned that to a side hustle, not an official business. And I turned it into like a little side hustle. And then I was helping my friends and families with their like business, to launch their businesses and to gain traffic and things like that. Once I accomplished that, I had my first big client was my last client. I was able to get her 10K followers in 3 months. So I was like, this is too much. I need a team. So I'm done with this. And that was me. That was my mindset of starting something just to like stop it. And then I was like, okay, God, this is it. I can't do this anymore. So then the pandemic hit. And then I was just looking for other ways to express my creativity. So I started, my family is, they come from seamstress, like they're seamstress. My grandmother, she used to make hats, shoes, church hats, shoes. She used to make the the choir robes and everything. So she used to make clothes. My aunt, she still designed to this day for like the robes and everything for the churches and things like that. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna let this gift go to waste. So I teamed up with my aunts, my mom, my grandmother, and I was like, you gotta teach me to sew because we're not gonna let this family gift die. So 2 months, I learned how to sew. I made a bunch of lingerie. I made like 30 like bralettes and thongs to match. And I was just doing that because like I was in my lingerie. Like I was at that time, I was stocking up on my lingerie. I was like, if I could just make it, why am I buying it? So I just made a bunch of lingerie. And then that lingerie is actually in storage right now. It's in storage because I was not happy with the finished product because as a woman, I'm sure there's like this cotton piece in the underwear that required professional help. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't have the tools and the equipment to do it. So I said, okay, God, that's it. All right, let's move on. So then in the midst of me learning how to sew, my aunt came, I was at my mom's house and then my aunt came to pick me up because she had to drop off a sewing machine that she was gifting me or something like that. And then on the way to my house, I was like, hey, I need to get my glasses fixed. So we stopped at a random optical near my home that I would not have walked to because it wasn't within walking distance. It was a closer one, like right around the corner. So I would not have gone there. So I went in there like, hey, I need my glasses fixed. And then the guy, he like took my glasses, went up to the bag. I was sitting there. I was just, minding my business. And then he was like, hey, come here real quick. And he was like, here's your glasses. But hold on one second. Are you looking for work? I'm like, no. And mind you, I was not working. I think I was collecting unemployment. I was focused on sewing, and I was going to like make that my business. Like we had a whole logo. I was going to name it after my mom. I had a whole Instagram. Like we had content, like at least over 20. Like it was a real thing. Like, it was about to be a real thing. And then I was like, no, I'm not looking for work. And then he was like, okay, but if you know anyone that's looking, we're hiring. And I was like, you know what? My little cousin, she might be interested. So tell me more about the position. And he was like, okay, here's the number you call this number. And then if you're interested, call this number if you're interested. I was like, okay. So I went home, not thinking anything to it, went back to sewing. And then at that time, my younger cousin was coming over, because, I was the cool big cousin, whatever. So she was coming over, and then I know she needed work. So I sat on the idea for a little bit, but then a week later, I think that's when I started running into my frustrations about the underwear not coming out right. And then I was like, okay, I might need money for this. So let me call this number and see what they're talking about. And then I called them. And then they was like, can you start Monday? It was a Thursday. They was like, can you start Monday? I was like, sure. No, he's like, can you come in today so we could speak face to face? So I got there in maybe 30, 45 minutes to speak face to face. And he was like, can you start Monday? So that opportunity, it was at an optical. And he promised me to become like the shop manager at a different location. 6 months later, I was still making $1,600, which was my exact rent. So that's just a little story on how God has led me to this point, because I basically, even the only reason why I even showed interest to that job is because of the money, because I needed money, because I couldn't figure out how I was going to pay because I was worrying. I was confused. I was just trying to make something happen when all along God had a plan for me, because the only thing that was paid was my rent. I was still struggling. I was still asking my mom to buy my grocery. I was still like, my credit card bills was falling behind. Like it was a lot of things that I still needed help with. So God still was causing me to struggle, although I was happy. And I wasn't really happy because but I received an important message that I'm still exercising today, was to slow down. And then
Mhm.
this man, this customer, he came in and was like, hey, I had a conversation with the doctor back there because I see you're good at what you do. Like you're moving around, you know, you're helping everybody. But as a man, that's a little too much for me. I'm like, to me, that didn't make any sense. And he was
Mhm.
like, you're moving too fast. Like, because it made sense now because I went on a whole through like journey. And he's like, you're moving too fast and we can't keep up. And I was like, huh. So me, I know I'm an overthinker. And then when I start speaking, like when I start overthinking, I start tripping over my words or stuttering, things like that. And then I my I consider it ADHD. Like when I'm focused on one thing, somebody would call my name, I would literally drop it and then go move on to that. Like that's just me and how like the hard worker in me. So it took a random person for them to pull me to the side and then say, you just need to slow down a little bit. Just slow down. And I was like, wow. And then after that, things started going downhill with the job. I ended up leaving, but I feel like if I hadn't heard that message at that time,
Mhm.
I went through almost a 2-year season without working and then just writing and just focused on like my craft. Somehow my bills got caught back up,
Mm.
got caught back up.
Mhm.
Everything got back to normal for somehow, some way.
Mhm.
But the funniest thing is that I have not written since 2022 started because God has caused me to write 13 scripts, 11 feature films, three, actually it's 10, no, okay, 9 feature films, 3 sitcoms or scripted series, and then 2 short films. So I've written all of that. I was in the process of planning my short film. I actually had a amazing lead actor who is like is pretty big in the rap culture right now. He's a part of like URL. I could drop his name if I want. His name is Jerry West if y'all want to look him up because like that's my bro. So yeah, I had him as a lead actor and he pushed me to rewrite the entire script because he was like, I like the concept, but the idea just needs to be stronger. So I went back, I rewritten the whole script, presented to him. He loved it. I was about to start crewing up, and then God said, "Nope, don't, nope, you're not about to film. Like I don't know what you think you're about to do, but that's not what you're about to do." And then almost instantly, I stopped. I just stopped. Like I just did a full casting call. We had our cast. We had a script. We was about to start scouting locations and everything, and then God said, "Nope, stop." And then the season that I was in right before I launched the business is crazy because I'm currently in that season where God is telling me to stop and slow down. So I'm noticing that this season it keeps like repeating itself. So
Wow.
yeah, I'll stop there, but yeah.
Got you, sis. I mean, well, again, that's a powerful message in that. Yeah, we do need to slow down, and I feel like, I mean, I'm sure you got your own journey about what happened with you for 2020. I know a lot of people have shared that, and honestly, that's when I finally kicked off this idea that had been on my heart and mind for years, ever since my 20s. Um,
Wow.
in 2020 is when I finally kicked it off, and because we literally all had to slow down, and then I was at the point where it was like, well, because I was running around doing this, that, the other, and whatnot, and working towards this, being like, okay, I'm gonna have the talk show. I'll get the logo done. I get this done. Da da da. Just making steps towards it. And because in my mind, I'm like, it's gonna be this. We're gonna be on stage. We're gonna have an audience. Blah 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 blah. But
You think
seeing
you're about
what
to be
God has done with
Oprah.
yeah, but it's like, but seeing what God has done with it now, where it's like, there's no way I would probably be talking to you or so many other amazing people that I met from around the world that have so many powerful testimonies on here, where it's just like, I'm cool with God doing it this way. I'm fine. You know what I mean? If He wants to do it with me on the stage with the audience one day, that's cool too. But I'm
Go ahead.
just like, I'm finally at that place where I'm just allowing God to be just, let me be where you want me to be. I'll do what you want me to do. And it took me a while to get to that place to just fully trust Him with every aspect of my life. But I feel like I'm finally here. And so, yeah, we might need to slow down, like we were just saying. We might need to just, again, we try to take so much under our own ideas and control, and think that we got to do. And I'm not saying still struggling, but kind of like still struggling
We're
with
human. We're gonna
faith.
struggle.
Yeah, like with the faith and works thing, because it's like, Lord, I have the faith and I want to show you by doing the work. But at the
Right.
same time, too, it's like, it has to be a balance with that as well. It's like, because if we're doing all the work and then we'll lose the faith aspect, because then we're thinking, oh, well, I did this X, Y, and Z. And then, or if you're just working in faith and you never doing no work, then that's the thing too. So it's like, it's a balance and everything. I think, everybody is on their journey and finding it out in different ways. And I appreciate you for sharing yours. I'm sure that that's going to resonate with somebody, and people are going to be encouraged and inspired by that. But I mean, I know you probably have to go. You got to look producing and things to do. So like, tell us where we can find you and your information, your social media, everything like that.
Yes. So you guys can find me on Instagram as Sold by Bronte. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Bronte Hemingway. And feel free to check out Real Black Films, www.realblackfilms.com. And we have a weekly event every Sunday at 3 p.m. We have a writing class, a comedy class. We even have a motivational class with the life coach, and we also have a artist development class for the musicians out there who's looking to become a consistently booked and confident artist. And we're also going to add audio and sound engineering class hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So yeah, feel free to check us out. We also have script writing services, so if you need a script for social media, your short film, check us out.
Might need to collaborate, sis. Look, we gonna have to, after this.
Listen.
I've been trying to find someone to help me finish some scripts, because I can get in my zone and finish the script, but then there's some concepts or ideas where I'm just like, I try to get other people to help me with it. Everybody's like, oh, you just do it yourself. And I'm like, but I do so much alone. Can I get some help?
I know.
So,
and I think that's where balance comes into play. Like, I've been practicing that as well, balance. And but you gotta, like you said, you gotta balance the work and the faith. So
yeah, exactly. So who knows? There might be some more collaborations coming down the line for us. I don't know. But is there anything else that you wanted to share with us today?
I mean, no, of course. Like, it's a never-ending conversation, but yeah, it was great speaking with you. Yeah, I would love to, speak with you more and collaborate with you more, and definitely get the people what they want. That's pretty much what matters right now is helping people live out loud and allow them to execute their dreams into reality, because a lot of people, I know they feel stuck and they don't feel as motivated or supported, I should say, throughout this creative journey, because we are all creators, pro-creators. I'm sure somebody created a new recipe last night. Like, we are all creators. So someone will relate, someone will like what you do, someone will listen. You are, your voice does matter. And yeah, don't be afraid to dream out loud. Don't be afraid to embarrass yourself. And just don't be afraid to trust God, trust love, and trust, I want to say trust sex, but walk into like tune into your femininity or your masculinity. That's what I really mean, because that's what matters. So I'll leave with that.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed talking to you today. I truly, truly appreciate this conversation. You're welcome back anytime.
Yes. Okay, we'll be in touch.
Miracle Sims, let's go. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, testify the motion, loving this devotion. Live it up, live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. I'm so done with that. Crazy part of my past. So don't get so old to ask, 'cause I won't forget.
Thank you so much for watching God, Sex, and Love. And thank you to Miss Bronte Hemingway for joining us tonight. I hope that you all enjoyed this conversation. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share, and check out Miss Bronte and all of her endeavors. Good night.
I'm good, but I bet you wish it.